Dancing with chaos, how to thrive amid uncertainty. Change. It's the one thing you can't escape, the storm that sweeps through your life when you least expect it. Change doesn't knock politely at the door. It breaks it down. It doesn't ask for permission. It arrives uninvited, turns everything upside down, and demands that you adapt or fall apart. And you've felt it, haven't you? That moment when everything you thought was certain crumbles beneath your feet. The job you thought was secure disappears overnight. The relationship you thought would last forever shatters. The life you spent years building shifts. And suddenly, nothing feels familiar anymore. It's terrifying, isn't it? When the world feels like it's spinning out of control, when the ground beneath you feels unstable, and you can't tell what's coming next. It's natural to feel paralyzed, to want to cling to what's familiar, what's safe, even as it slips away. But here's the truth about change. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to transform you. Change is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It doesn't feel that way though, does it? No. Change feels like chaos. It feels like loss. It feels like the universe is conspiring to strip away everything you've ever known, leaving you exposed and vulnerable. But that's the point, because the life you want, the person you want to become, the greatness you've always dreamed of, it doesn't live in the familiar. It doesn't live in the safe. It doesn't live in the predictable. It lives in the unknown. Let's be honest. You don't fear change. Not really. What you fear is the uncertainty that comes with it. You fear the not knowing. You fear what lies on the other side of the door that change has thrown open. But here's the thing about uncertainty. It's where life happens. The life you've been chasing, the dreams, the growth, the transformation. It's waiting for you on the other side of that door. But you'll never reach it if you keep clinging to the past, to the things you can't control, to the version of yourself that change is trying to pull you away from. Let me ask you this. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who clings to what's familiar, even as it crumbles? Do you want to be the person who fights against the tide of change, wasting your energy on a battle you can never win? Or do you want to be the person who thrives in chaos? Because thriving in chaos doesn't mean having all the answers. It doesn't mean knowing exactly what to do when the storm hits. Thriving in chaos means embracing it. It means stepping into the unknown with courage, with resilience, with the understanding that every storm carries the seeds of growth. But let's not pretend this is easy. Let's not sugarcoat the truth. Change is painful. It forces you to let go of the things you've clung to for years, the routines, the relationships, the plans that made you feel safe. It pushes you out of your comfort zone and into a space where everything feels uncertain. And that uncertainty, it's where fear lives. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But here's what fear doesn't want you to know. Fear is a liar. It's loud, yes, it's intimidating, yes, but it's hollow. Fear only has power because you give it power. And when you strip fear of that power, what you're left with is freedom. Freedom to move, freedom to grow, freedom to become the person you were always meant to be. Because here's the truth about change. It doesn't ask you to have all the answers. It doesn't ask you to be perfect. It doesn't ask you to know exactly where you're going. All it asks is that you keep moving, one step, one decision, one moment of courage at a time. Let's talk about what happens when you resist change. When you cling to the past, when you fight against the tide, when you refuse to adapt, you don't stay the same. No, you shrink, you stagnate, you lose pieces of yourself bit by bit, until you wake up one day and realize you don't recognize the person you've become. Change doesn't wait for your permission. It doesn't care if you're ready. It's going to happen, whether you like it or not. The only question is, how will you respond? Will you let it break you, or will you let it build you? Because here's the thing about change. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to wake you up. It's here to strip away the things you no longer need, the habits, the beliefs, the relationships that are holding you back. It's here to challenge you, to test you, to show you what you're really made of. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's painful. But that pain, that discomfort, it's the price of growth. Think about the most powerful moments of your life. The moments that shaped you, that defined you, that transformed you. Were they easy? Were they comfortable? Or were they born out of struggle, out of uncertainty, out of change? Because growth doesn't happen in the familiar. It doesn't happen in the safe. It doesn't happen in the predictable. Growth happens in the fire. It happens when you're thrown into situations you don't feel ready for, when you're forced to adapt, to evolve, to rise. But let me tell you something about the fire. It doesn't just burn. It forges. Think of a blade. A blade doesn't become strong, sharp, or unbreakable by sitting on a shelf. It becomes strong through heat, through pressure, through relentless hammering. You are that blade, and change is the fire. Every challenge you face, every moment of uncertainty, every storm that shakes the foundation of your life, it's shaping you. It's strengthening you. It's forging you into something unbreakable. But here's the thing about the fire. You have to step into it willingly. You have to embrace the discomfort, the uncertainty, the chaos. You have to let go of the things you can't control and focus on the things you can. Because here's the truth about thriving in uncertainty. It's not about controlling the storm. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Let me tell you what happens when you embrace change. At first, it feels overwhelming. The ground beneath you feels unstable. The world around you feels unpredictable. But then something amazing happens. You realize that the fear you felt wasn't as powerful as you thought. You realize that the uncertainty you were so afraid of is full of possibility, and you realize that the person you were before the storm isn't the person you are now. Because every step you take into the unknown, every decision you make in the face of fear, every moment of courage, it transforms you. Embracing change isn't about having all the answers. It's not about knowing exactly what to do or where to go. It's about trusting yourself. It's about trusting that no matter what happens, you have the strength to handle it. You have the resilience to rise. You have the courage to keep moving forward. But let's be clear. This isn't a one-time thing. Change isn't something you face once and conquer forever. It's a constant. It's a part of life, and every time it comes, it will test you. But the more you embrace it, the stronger you become. The more you step into the fire, the more unbreakable you become. And one day you'll look back on the storms that once terrified you and realize they weren't storms at all. They were opportunities. They were doorways. They were the moments that transformed you into the person you are today. So let me ask you, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who clings to the past, who fights against the tide, who lets fear dictate your life? Or do you want to be the person who thrives in chaos, who embraces the fire, who steps into the unknown with courage and resilience? Because that person, the person who thrives, who grows, who transforms, that person is already inside you. This is your moment to let go of the past, your moment to embrace the unknown, your moment to step into the fire and let it forge you into something stronger, sharper, greater than you've ever been before. Change isn't here to destroy you, it's here to wake you up. So step forward, step into the chaos, step into the uncertainty, because on the other side of change lies everything you've ever wanted.